What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today I want to take some time out to address a concern that I've seen following the last manga chapter regarding Sarada, which is there appears to be a pretty big group of you guys who are of the belief that Sarada might have awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan and never realized that she awakened the eye itself. The reason for the concern is that all throughout the fighting that we've seen in the last couple of manga chapters, she didn't come on her Sharingan, let alone her Mangekyo Sharingan even once, which has led to some very surprising discourse and a large number of DMs I've been getting from people asking, is Sarada even aware of the fact that she has the Mangekyo Sharingan, and people being concerned about that. I'll say it now, despite the meme thumbnail for this video and probably a troll title because I feel like trolling right now, I don't think this is going to end up being the case, and I think there's an overreaction on the part of fans when it comes to this because we don't see Sarada using either of her Sharingan. To explain why, I'm going to give both an in-universe answer as well as a likely real-world creative choice by the illustrator of Boruto's manga, Mikio Ikimoto, in order to explain why this is likely not the case. So to start with the in-universe reason and explain that, we have to address whether or not the concerns that people have are actually valid. So if we go back over the Naruto manga and all the official source materials, have there been instances where someone awakened the Sharingan Kekkei Genkai and the evolution that the Sharingan Kekkei Genkai has the Mangekyo, only to realize that they have never done so? Absolutely, it's happened more than once in the franchise, so this isn't something that fans are just randomly pulling out. This actually is something that's happened. Obito's distress and helplessness at the sight of Ren's death caused his chakra to change, and it awakened his Mangekyo along with Kakashi's eye transforming in response simultaneously, but Kakashi was never aware of his Mangekyo until we got out of the 2.5-year Naruto time skip, where he suddenly discovered it during his training during that time, and is going on and on about a new type of Sharingan and a new type of power, but it's an old Sharingan, it's an old power, but it's new to him because he just discovered it. Like say you discover some loose change underneath your sofa cushion, you never realize that you lost. However, some people tend to throw out that whole scenario because they say, well, Kakashi's not an Uchiha, so it doesn't apply to him. Yet we've seen Sasuke not realize he awakened the Sharingan during the Uchiha massacre and go almost 5 years between the events without even realizing that he had the Kekkei Genkai awaken, and even Sasuke's own daughter awakened her Sharingan when she was a small child and didn't know about it for several years. That's pretty much the basis some people have for Sarada not knowing she awakened the Mangekyo, because in the manga we saw her crying and the eye was shown to Sasuke, but Sasuke never told her that she had the Mangekyo Sharingan, because the next panel we see of Sasuke is him saving Boruto. So the assumption is that Sasuke never told his daughter, which I don't think is the case. I actually think it's the exact opposite. Sasuke knew exactly what he was about to do the moment he chose to believe in Sarada and go save Boruto. He snatched him up and said, we gotta leave the village right away. He knew he was going to be leaving Konoha for a long period of time. I strongly doubt the man does not have a quick conversation with his daughter beforehand, telling her that she has the Mangekyo Sharingan now and warns her not to overuse that power, otherwise she will go blind. It doesn't take a long, drawn out, in-depth conversation in order to get that point across. 30 to 45 seconds is more than enough time to say, gonna go save Boruto, tell her to look after her mother for him, and to warn her not to overuse her Sharingan or else she will go blind. Basically saying the Mangekyo Sharingan should be your trump card. Now to expand on the in-universe answer, if we go pay attention to Sarada and Boruto Naruto Next Generation's manga, most of the fights that we see her use, she's not using the Sharingan at all. We know some of it is because it's as she said in the past, there's a stamina issue with her using her Sharingan. She's got the same issue Izumi Uchiha did. Extended use of the Sharingan drains her stamina very quickly. Yes, she's undergone chakra control training with Sakura to bypass this problem, but we still saw her in the timeline after the fact, after the exact same training that took place, being cautious of how she used her Sharingan. Case in point, in the Boro fight, she's cutting it on and off consistently instead of doing what her uncle Itachi and her father Sasuke did, which is leave the Sharingan on the entire time until the threat's been eliminated. She was cutting it on long enough to read Boro Zoro's movements, see the color of his chakra, see the microscopic viruses in the air, and then cut it off to save her chakra for later. When she fought Boruto and Mitsuki in the sparring match, she never used the Sharingan despite Boruto saying he's going all out, and the same with the battle with Ao. At no point did she ever cut the Sharingan on, even though Ao was trying to kill her. So it's not uncommon for a character to not use Sharingan right away. Those claw grinds were enough that they didn't rise to a threat level requiring the use of a Sharingan. However, I do think we can call a spade here. Since this isn't necessarily an opinion video, I do have to have some level of objectivity here. Her using the Chidori without having the Sharingan cut on is both dangerous and stupid to be that reckless. I thought maybe she had the eye cut on and we just couldn't see it because of the eyelashes and the manga panel angle that was chosen, which is why I said in the review, hey, I think that she had the Sharingan on. I don't think she's that big of an idiot, but I upscaled the image and I zoomed in on it and there's no Sharingan cut on, which is so reckless of her that I'm actually disappointed in Sarada's character. And it hurts me to say that because that is one of my favorite characters in Boruto's franchise. Doing that leaves you open for an attack because without the Sharingan Eye Insight, you're not able to adjust to the counterattacks that come from someone if they overcome the straight line speed required for the high speed thrusting jab that this attack requires, and the claw grinds can do just that because they can move independently through those claw marks that are all around the area. Either Sarada is being reckless or her base has just gotten that broken where she felt the need to use the Chidori in her base without the Sharingan cut on and thought that she could react to their attack. Sarada making the decision to conserve chakra and not use Sharingan or the extra chakra for the Mangekyo, I understand it, especially if she thinks that she's gonna end up having to get involved in helping out the battle with Code. If that's the case, it again makes sense. However, I do think there's something else to this that has to be brought up, which is the Boruto mangaka of Mikio Ikimoto. I do think it bears noting that drawing eyes is something that Ikimoto himself has said is not his strong suit. It's something he struggles with, which for a series where the characters have magical eyes the same way that the Sailor Moon Sailor Scouts have glowy transformations and battles in high heels, a lot higher than anything Sarada's past or current design actually has, didn't stop them from kicking ass. Just saying, one thing that we do gotta kind of admit is that drawing eyes for Uchiha is kind of a required thing. However, if you go back and reread Boruto Naruto Next Generations, one thing that you see, not just with Sarada, but also Sasuke, is that their dojutsu isn't cut on all the time. Sarada, you go, okay, well, stamina issues, but Sasuke, well, why doesn't Sasuke have his Sharingan on all the time either? After all, Sasuke has used the Sharingan cut on for lengthy periods of time when he was fighting in Naruto's manga, and even in Naruto Gaiden when his Rinnegan was recharging, Sasuke was still cutting on his Sharingan. So I just chalk that up to Ikimoto taking the chakra issue to heart, because even in Naruto's manga we saw Sasuke occasionally getting to a point where he couldn't keep the Sharingan cut on even after he got the Rinnegan. But again, in Naruto Gaiden, which was drawn by Masashi Kishimoto, that Shin Uchiha art, Sasuke had his Sharingan on for a significant amount of time while also trying to recover chakra to use his Rinnegan. But that comment he made about the eyes being a problem for him drawing is something that has always been at the back of my mind when I see any of the Uchiha fighting in Boruto's manga. Just to be clear, that's not me throwing shade at Ikimoto. I do think he's a talented mangaka. Do I have some issues with Ikimoto? Absolutely. I've made that clear. I have issues with Ikimoto, but I think that he's a talented mangaka. But part of me wonders if that doesn't play a role in the lack of Sharingan being drawn by him and his assistants. Again, it's probably the chakra issue, because he did draw Ishiki's dojutsu at times on Ishiki and Kawaki, but even in this newest chapter, Kawaki is in a battle setting and he doesn't turn on his full dojutsu. But like the Sharingan, we know that there is a chakra cost even for Kawaki, so it could be something done for strategic reasons. Kawaki knows Code's in the village, he knows Boruto's in the village. He might not be wanting to waste his chakra on the claw grinds. Fighting them with this ninja tool body and fighting them with the karma seal, that might be more than enough. However, regardless of the reason, I don't think this is a case of Sarada not knowing she had the Mangekyo Sharingan. I think that's jumping the gun. I get it. We're all anxious to see her powers, one of which I still think is going to be Amaterasu, because her family appears to have a strong connection to that power. Both her uncle and father had that power, and despite what some people are still saying in 2023, Sasuke doesn't have Amaterasu because of something Itachi did. That Amaterasu that Sasuke used on Obito was a one-time usage, a one-shot via the Amaterasu transcription seal. That's why Sasuke's eye transformed into Itachi. That was not Sasuke's chakra being used. Sasuke has Amaterasu not because of Itachi poking him on the forehead, but because that's literally his Mangekyo Sharingan power. However, it doesn't make sense for her to be running around like an idiot using her Mangekyo Sharingan in every fight, because if she does, she's as big of an idiot as Sasuke, who might hold a record for burning through his Mangekyo Sharingan the fastest. Using that power sparingly like Shisui and Itachi is the smarter thing to do. The Mangekyo should be a trump card when it's used in battle, not something that's used for low-level fights such as this. She was already kicking around the claw grinds and blowing back several of them just using simple fire release. That's not something that needs to be done. Her having to use the Mangekyo Sharingan. She's smart enough to save that power on the all chances she might need to assist Boruto in the battle against Code because the village is at stake of being destroyed. Obviously, there's still gonna be some of you guys who think that she doesn't know she has Mangekyo, but hopefully I convinced enough of you guys that this won't be the case. And if I convinced you of that, hopefully I can convince you to check out my Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 236 review, because that's a controversial one.